What do you do when you want to make the change, you want to move forward, but it feels like you can't? Maybe outer circumstances, maybe inner circumstances, maybe the combination of both. I have a dear friend who is so stuck being in a hamster wheel and wants to make those changes, but it feels like they can't. It feels like things are coming up when they're trying to, and it feels like they just sometimes don't have the willpower for that. So what do we do? 3 steps that I'm going to share with you today. How do we move through this? And this isn't just preaching. This is actually real life experience, having experienced deep depression, really not wanting to be here anymore. And how do we, with this, I just can't, I've got nothing. How do we move forward? Let's dive right in. So this is for you, whether you're in this place of I'm just on repeat and I don't like this and I can't seem to move forward and I want to, but it feels like I can't. Or maybe you're in this place of I absolutely love my life, but the next level of it, what does that look like? And I have trouble moving towards that. So in either of those cases, this video is for you. The 3 steps that I'm going to share with you. How do we move forward, and some of the mistakes, the pitfalls that most people make, and how can you avoid that? So at first, I want to come into the breath, because you can absolutely take this information on the mind level and you're just going to waste your time, because if it's not implemented somatically, there's no point to it. It's just going to come into one ear and out from the other. So taking a deep inhale in, and exhaling out. Beautiful. So, why does this happen is what I want to address first before going into the steps. Why does this happen? Because we're disconnected from ourselves, because our world has kind of taught us to numb ourselves, living up to other people's expectations, not spending nearly enough time with ourselves to actually connect. Wait, what do I want? We have a soul inquiry coming up in Thrive, in the membership. And the reason I do these is because this is like the time to come into you. From this grounded place, these questions that open you up, what is my soul calling me to? Because from that place of connection, the answers and the questions come up simultaneously. They're not separate. So you know before you even doubt, before you have that question, because there's no doubt at those higher frequencies. So the reason that this happens is because we're disconnected from ourselves, because oftentimes we try to, I'm not going to say too much because it's one of the steps. We try to go into should I be, instead of what is the energy moving through me? So the first step, how do we get past that? How do we connect back to ourselves? The first step is, where do you want to go? Because a lot of us go into, I don't know. I just don't want to feel this. I just don't like this. I don't know. I want to get moving and see where it goes. But with that, even though it's amazing, right? Just like, I don't know, just any action. When we keep taking those consistently, we don't actually know what we're creating. And so we're not going to create anything. And this is really important. Where do you want to go? How do you want to feel? And here's a warning, not to get attached to, okay, this is how it's going to look like, like that tunnel vision. This is what I want to feel. And notice how that feeling can show up in so many different ways in your life. So tuning into that and allowing that. And that is the first step, right? Where do you want to go? Identifying that rather than just not this. Number 2. This is, by the way, something that we do in clarity calls. So if you guys want support with that, I offer free clarity calls to support you in, okay, what do I want? What is my soul calling me to, right? Because again, there are absolutely action steps. Thrive is one of the accessible containers that I created for this, because it takes consistency, right? You don't take a shower just one time, you're like, I'm good. Alignment takes consistent action. But first, if you don't even know where you're going, you can't know what actions are required. So the link is below, free clarity call. It's 30 minutes of just you time, no strings attached, because I want to be able to support as many people as possible with this, because I know what that feels like. So step number 2, taking action, right? But this is important. From a place of, I know where I'm going, now we're taking action. And here is what I really learned and had to battle through when I was going through depression, having this state of I can't get out of bed and people are there. And even though I've loved psychology and studied as a hobby from the age of like 13, there was a lot of judgment. Like up until you actually go through depression, people can read about the depression. You don't get it until you go through it. When you're there, just everything's numb. Like your favorite food doesn't really taste like much. Your favorite activity, I couldn't care less. And you're just going through the motions of complete disconnection from life, complete disconnection from self, right? Because whether you trust life, that is a reflection of your trust within you. Whether you surrender to life, whether you trust life, whether you care for life, shows how much you care for you. And it's a mirror, it's a reflection. And I absolutely know those times where you're in bed and you're like, I just don't want to. Or maybe you're talking to a friend and you're so hyped up, like, oh my God, yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. Have a dear friend who's like, oh my God, I wanna do this thing and I'm so excited. But when it comes to take action, they're just procrastinating. They're trying to put it off for as long as possible. And it doesn't go anywhere. Here's the thing with this. It's not that I have to wait for momentum. I have to wait until I feel inspired and amazing to start doing the thing. There's this, I gotta push myself to gain momentum, to then do more of that thing with more momentum, and then it rolls, okay? But for that, you gotta give it the first push. And this is where intuition comes in, and I love talking about this with my one-on-one clients and teaching them how to differentiate, how to, just holding their hand through the whole process of how do we learn to trust our intuition, differentiate. Because even though I've spent years doing this work, I love this feeling of, I really don't want to do it, even though that's absolutely the way to go. And there's that resistance, and we get to overcome that, but there is fear, and then there is fear that is excitement without the breath, and learning to tell the difference between the two. So this is the second step that is really important, and that is you got to make the first step to get that momentum going. And can you trust that? And can you love yourself through that? Can you love yourself through the resistance? Not like, okay, I have to push through it. And this is what's not working. It will give you the short-term results, but it will make you feel like crap because you're disconnecting with yourself in the process. There's a part of you that's maybe scared, maybe vulnerable, maybe tender, and you're just like, it's okay, let's just push through it. That's not loving. That's kind of abusive. And a lot of us have that abusive relationship within ourselves. And so how can we take that action step, loving the resistance and saying, hey, I see you, I love you, and let's do this together, okay? So this is where it takes the conscious mind holding the hand of that fearful aspect of you and combining into. And again, if this is something you want to dive deeper into, this is what I do in my 3-month self-mastery containers in my one-on-one work. So you can, again, sign up for a clarity call and see if this is an alignment for you. Number 3. Most people try to, this one is where it's a bit tricky because most people try to go from 0 to 100, or rather from like minus 100 to plus 100. When you're feeling low, when you don't know where you're like, I'm completely disconnected, and we beat ourselves up for not being able to do that jump from negative 100 to positive 100. And it's not possible. And the question here is, can you be gentle with yourself? What are the steps along the way? Can you love the aspects of you that are resisting? Can you love aspects of you that are afraid to make that change? In my own personal experience, I was a lone wolf, okay? It's not even that I was afraid or not comfortable. It was not a concept to ask for help. I remember the discomfort of working with a mentor, a teacher, an incredible shaman, and I was like, no. And there was so much resistance to that. And then sharing openly in a group, like that was just completely no way, right? Absolutely no way. And understanding what is possible and where I am right now, having such close communities where it's like, okay, I'm ready to be seen now. This is me. And this doesn't come because of people outside of you. This comes because you learn to trust you. Because you know that no matter what, I've got me. No matter who judges, I've got me. And through this deep trust, you learn to trust life as well. And this creating this trust blueprint, it doesn't come from I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not fast enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. And rejecting that which is. And an important part that I want to address in this third step is that when we try to find solutions from what isn't working, and I kind of addressed that in the first one, where do I want to go? Well, not this. Long term, it will not bring you the results you want. For you to identify a problem and to see it as a problem, you have to be disconnected from yourself. You have to be disconnected from, not disconnected, you can never be really disconnected, but you have to be less than the full you. Let's call it that. Because you wouldn't perceive the problem otherwise. And so I saw this car just flashing lights right now as I'm recording. And it's like alert. That's what it is. When you see a problem, when you see something or someone is negative, when you see the lack, it's like alert, I'm disconnected. I'm not in my true place right now. This is not who I came here to be. This is not who I truly am. And so from that place, yes, identifying, okay, this experience is providing me clarity on that which I do want, but not taking action until you're in neutrality, not taking action until you're in equilibrium. All right? So this is the third step. And a program that I actually have for this is the Trust Blueprint. You can check out, it's also in the description below, where we go into the 3-month container that it's structured. It's not the same as the self-mastery because it's there's a structure of what does it take to trust life, because that trust in life comes from your trust in yourself. And that's what we dive deep in the 3 months, having 3 phases to that process. So if this is something that resonates, check it out. Let's come into the body, back to right now, back to right here. What if right now is enough? What if right now is your point of power? Can you allow that? Can you accept that? Can you open to that? I thank you for being here. Please give it a heart, a like, I don't know what they have here. If this resonated, subscribe if you want more content of how to thrive, more content about how to be all that you came here to be. Because that's what my work is all about, from my journey and ongoing journey. So I thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.